Who is Maxine Waters Rep? Revealed after telling supporters to confront Trump officials. Representative Maxine Waters is the latest victim of Donald Trump's frequent Twitter attacks. The 79-year-old politician was called an extraordinarily low IQ person by the president, who went on to state that she called for harm to supporters, of which there are many, of the Make America Great Again movement. Trump ended his statement by writing, "Be careful what you wish for, Max." The tweet was sent after Rep. Waters said, "Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up, and if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore. We've got to get the children connected to their parents, their children are suffering." The statement is a direct response to a mixture of outrage and applause for a Virginia restaurant called the Red Hen that refused to serve Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So, what do you need to know about Representative Maxine Waters? Check it out. Maxine Waters was born August 15, 1938 in St. Louis, Missouri. She currently serves as the U.S. Representative for California's 43rd Congressional District. She was voted into this position in 2013 after serving in a similar role in California's 29th Congressional District in the 90s. Rep. Waters is a Democrat. Her career began in the California Assembly, which she was elected into in 1976. In that position she was outspoken about her stance on apartheid in South Africa. Amid riots in Los Angeles, California stemming from the Rodney King verdict, Rep. Waters drew attention for delivering relief and supplies to people in Watts. Years later, Waters made headlines again when she called for an investigation into the government's role in facilitating the crack epidemic. She eventually moved on to Congress, where she's been vocal in her opposition to the war in Iraq and her criticisms of Presidents George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush and Donald Trump. Despite her many political contributions over the years, Rep. Waters became known to many previously politically unaware people in 2017 during a House Financial Services Committee meeting during which she questions U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Steven Mnuchin. Several times during the hearing, Rep. Waters uttered the phrase, "reclaiming my time," which has become a catchphrase in anti-Trump resistance efforts. In her personal life, Rep. Waters has been married twice. Once to Edward Waters and later to Sid Williams. She and Sid are still a couple. Rep. Waters has two children, Karen and Edward Waters. Maxine Waters has been accused of inciting violence by Donald Trump and his supporters. While she did not call for bodily harm to anyone, she did say that members of Trump's cabinet should not be permitted to enjoy restaurants and stores until they do something about the separation of migrant families at the U.S.-Mexico border. Her exact words were, "Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up, and if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. We've got to get the children connected to their parents, their children are suffering." The statement came after Sarah Huckabee Sanders was forced out of a Virginia eatery called the Red Hen and both Christian Nielsen and Stephen Miller were booted from separate Mexican restaurants. After learning that Representative Maxine Waters called for cabinet members to be confronted in public spaces, Donald Trump threatened the Congresswoman on Twitter. He alleged that she called for violent attacks on anyone supporting his mission, adding, "Be careful what you wish for, Max." Rep. Waters has a history of speaking out against Trump and his policies, and she's been attacked for it by his supporters in the past. According to NBC Los Angeles, in April 2018 a man called Anthony Scott Lloyd pleaded guilty to threatening to kill Rep. Waters over her opposition to Trump. According to the outlet, he made a threatening phone call to Rep. Waters' Capitol Hill office after hearing a report about her bashing Trump on talk radio. Lloyd said in a voicemail, "If you continue to make threats toward the president, you're going to wind up dead, Maxine, 'cause we'll kill you." He also used a racial slur and an anti-gay slur in the message.